Welcome back, dear students. In the previous lecture we studied the different forms of the corolla. So these different forms of the corolla has been categorized into the different types based on the condition of petals and the cohesion. For example, regular and polypetalous corolla, irregular and polypetalous corolla, regular and gamopetalous corolla, irregular and gamopetalous corolla. So these are the four criteria by which we studied the different forms of the corolla. So the first one is the regular and polypetalous, where we studied the cruciform corolla. The corolla is regular, polypetalous, actinomorphic. It consists of 4 petals and these are arranged in the form of a crossed manner. So this crossed manner arrangement of the 3 petals is important in cruciform corolla. And if you see the structure of the individual petal, it has the claw and limb. So these are clearly seen in the cruciform corolla, for example Brassica. The next one type is the irregular and polypetalous corolla. So this is found in the Clitoria. The flower is zygomorphic. It consists of 5 petals, of which one is large, called as vexillum or standard, while the 2 lateral petals partially covered by the vexillum are like the 2 wings of the butterfly, called as the wings or ali, and the 2 innermost petals are united to form a boat shaped cavity. These are smallest and are known as keel. So this is the irregular and polypetalous corolla. It is known as papilionaceous corolla. So this corolla is irregular, polypetalous and zygomorphic. So what is the meaning of zygomorphic? When we divide the corolla in a vertical section, it forms 2 exact equal parts or the halves. That type is the zygomorphic. And if you divide in the another angle by taking a vertical section, it cannot divide into the 2 exact parts. So that type of corolla is the zygomorphic corolla, or the flower is a zygomorphic. So this corolla is irregular, polypetalous, petals are free, and zygomorphic. It consists of 5 petals. So here in this diagram we can see the 5 petals, 1, 2, 3, and this is the 5th one. The outermost petal is largest, so this one is the largest petal. Outermost, which is largest, is known as the standard or vexillum. The 2 lateral petals that partially covered by the vexillum, so this vexillum which covers the 2 lateral petals are like the wings of a butterfly, called as the wings or ali. So these 2 lateral petals which are partially covered by the vexillum look like the 2 wings of a butterfly, so called as the wings or ali. The 2 innermost petals are united to form a boat shaped cavity. So they are united to form a boat shaped cavity, and these are smallest and are known as keel or carina. So this is the structure of the corolla, where the 5 petals are arranged. One is the largest, called as vexillum. 2 lateral, these are smallest, which are partially covered by the vexillum, looks like a butterfly. And the innermost, these are the smallest, and they are united to form a boat shaped cavity. So this is about the papilionaceous corolla, and this corolla is a characteristic feature of the family Fabaceae, so that possesses Clitoria, pea, beans. So these are the plants which comes under the family Fabaceae. So this is the photograph of Clitoria, where we can clearly see the vexillum, which is the largest one petal. It is also called as the standard. Next to this is the 2 lateral petals partially covered by the vexillum, are known as the 2 wings of a butterfly, so they are called as the wings or ali. The 2 innermost that are united to form a boat shaped cavity, which are present inner side of these wings, are known as the keel. So to the inner side of the wings, the keels are present. So this is the corolla which we called as papilionaceous corolla, and which is the characteristic of family Fabaceae. Okay, so this is the irregular and polypetalous corolla, papilionaceous. Okay, next to this is the regular and gamopetalous. So that we seen in the last lecture, where the corolla is regular, gamopetalous, petals are united, and actinomorphic. The flower has been divided into two equal parts by taking any vertical section. Okay, so that flower is actinomorphic. So there are 5 united petals, so we use gamopetalous term. The corolla is funnel shape. So the shape we see, it is funnel shape, was found in the Solanaceae and Convolvulaceae family. For example, Datura, the corolla is infundibuliform. So this is the photograph of Datura flower, where the infundibuliform corolla has been clearly seen. So this corolla is regular, gamopetalous and actinomorphic. The petals are united, and if you see the form of the corolla, it is a funnel shape. So the name infundibuliform. Okay. Next to this is the irregular and gamopetalous corolla. So this is the example of ocimum flower, where bilabiate or two-leafed corolla has been seen. It is irregular and gamopetalous. The corolla has two leaves, hence the name two-leaf corolla. So this is the one leaf, this is the another leaf. So it having two leaves. The upper leaf is formed by the union of two petals, while the lower leaf is formed by the union of three petals. So there are total 5 petals. This upper leaf, which is the larger, is formed by the union of two petals, while the lower leaf, which is smaller in comparison to this, has been formed by the union of 3 petals. So presence of this type of corolla is a characteristic of family Labiatae. So it is a bilabiate two-leafed corolla found in the Ocimum, Salvia, Lucas. So this is about the bilabiate corolla. So the characteristic of this corolla is, it looks like a leafed structure. How many leaves? 2 leaves. So bilabiate corolla, upper leaf, which is largest, formed by the union of 2 petals, while the lower leaf is formed by the union of 3 petals. So this is the photograph of ocimum. Here we can clearly see that this is the upper leaf, which is formed by the union of 2 petals. This one is the lower leaves, which are formed by the union of 3 petals. 1, 2, 3. Here we can clearly see in these 3 petals. Here there are 2 petals that form a union. So this is about the bilabiate or two-leafed corolla. Next to this is the tubular corolla. So this tube-like structure that we see, a tube-shaped corolla we seen in the sunflower and Nicotiana. So the name given to the corolla is a tubular corolla, where all the petals are united. It is a gamopetalous actinomorphic corolla, where the shape of the corolla is tube shape. Okay, so this is the tubular corolla found in sunflower and Nicotiana. So this is the photograph of Nicotiana flower, where the tubular shape or tube shaped corolla has been clearly seen. So it is a tubular corolla. Okay, then the campanulate corolla, it is a bell shape. It is bell shape with a basically rounded flaring tube about as broad as long and flaring lobes. So here we can see clearly, this is the basal rounded flaring tube. It is as broad as long and flaring lobes. So these are the lobes which we clearly seen here. So here this corolla looks like a bell shape. So the name is the campanulate corolla. So this is the picture of campanulate corolla. So here it looks like bell shape. So the name given is a campanulate corolla. Okay. Next to this is the significance of corolla that we also seen in the previous lecture. It protects the inner holes. Its main function is to attract the pollinating agents for pollination. They having a different shapes and size, so it gives a attractive shape to the flower. The flower is attractive, conspicuous due to the brightly colored corolla. In some flowers it emits the smell also. So this is about the significance of corolla. Now the estivation. So what is the estivation? Estivation is the arrangement and the overlapping of floral parts, either calyx, corolla or perianth. So the outermost two non-essential or accessory parts of the flower, that is the calyx and corolla, or in some plants if there is a no differentiation between calyx and corolla, here the perianth has been present. So estivation is the arrangement of the floral parts, either calyx, corolla or perianth. One can say estivation is the arrangement and some type of overlapping has been seen in the floral parts, either calyx, corolla or perianth. So this is about the estivation. So precise definition of the estivation is the arrangement and overlapping of floral parts, either calyx, corolla or perianth. Estivation can be an important systematic character for delimiting or diagnosing some flowering plant taxa. So estivation is used for categorization of the plant into the different group. It forms an important systematic character for diagnosing flowering in some plant taxa. In practice, estivation is best observed by making hand section of mature flower buds, because after anthesis the perianth estivation may be hidden. So estivation can be seen better in the bud condition. For very small flowers, histological sectioning may be needed to clearly see the estivation type. So there are 6 types of estivation: valvate, twisted, imbricate, quincunxial, vexillary and imbricate alternate. So these are the 6 types of estivation. I repeat it once again. Estivation is the arrangement and overlapping of floral parts, either calyx, corolla or perianth. There are 6 types of estivation: valvate, twisted, imbricate, quincunxial, vexillary and imbricate alternates. So one by one we are going to study these 6 types of estivation. So here we can see all these types of the estivation. Here in this diagram we clearly seen the valvate estivation, twisted estivation, imbricate, quincunxial and vexillary. So what are the differences between these 6 types of estivation? These differences occurs in the arrangement and the overlapping of the floral parts, such as calyx, corolla or perianth. So calyx, corolla or perianth, here these 6 types of estivation has been seen. Here in case of valvate estivation, if you see the individual petals, so these are the individual sepals or petals. So here how many sepals has been seen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One can say these estivations are also for the petals also, or corolla also, and perianth also. So here we consider, suppose these are the sepals, 5 sepals are here. In each diagram there are 5 sepals, okay, and these 5 sepals has been used to describe the various types of estivation. So valvate, twisted, imbricate, quincunxial and vexillary. So in all these types of estivation there are differences in the arrangement and the overlapping of sepals or petals or tepals, okay. So these are the types of estivation. One by one we are going to study in detail. So first one is the valvate estivation, where if you see the margins of the sepals or petal lobes, they are not overlapping, they are at the same position. Here this is the individual sepal, these are the margins that has been seen at the end, at the start or at the end. These are the margins. So margins are not overlapping, they are at the same position. This is the valvate estivation. For example, solanum, where the petals are free, they are not overlapped by the other petal. So such type of estivation is the valvate estivation. So this is the photograph of solanum, where the petals are united. It is the gamma petalous corolla. So here this is the one petal, this is then another. So here how many petals are? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. all these petals are at the same position, there is no overlapping, so such type of estivation is a valvate estivation. These are the margins of the petal. Here is the margin, here is the margin of this petal. So all these 5 petals are arranged at the same position without any overlapping. This type of estivation is a valvate estivation. Okay, diagrammatically we can also see such type of estivation. Here in this diagram the petals are free, where the margins of the sepals or petals are not overlapping. Okay, so this is valvate estivation. Next to this is the twisted estivation. So twist has been occurred here. One margin of each sepal or petal is overlapping and other being overlap. Suppose here if you consider these 2 adjacent sepals or petal, this is the one and this one is the another. Here the one margin of this sepal is overlapped by the adjacent sepal, so it is overlapping, and this one is being overlapped. This one is being overlapped. Which was overlapping it? The adjacent sepal. Same is the case here. The another margin of this adjacent sepal has been overlapped by the other sepal or petal, so it get overlap, and this is overlapping. Okay, so this margin overlapping the adjacent sepal or petal. So those sepal whose margin is overlapped by the other adjacent sepal. Okay, so this type of continuous overlapping has been seen. Okay, so this side is on outer side, this margin is on inner side. Again outer side, inner side, outer side, inner side, outer side, inner side. Here the margins are outer. Margins of the sepals or petals are outer and inner, outer and inner, in a continuous manner, in a regular fashion. So such type of estivation is a twisted estivation. So in this diagram we clearly seen this. Here this margin is outer side, while its other margin is towards inner side. Similarly, the adjacent sepal or petal, its outer margin, its one margin is outer side, its other margin is towards inner side. So this is the twisted estivation, overlapping in regular pattern, with one margin of each sepal or petal is overlapping and other being overlap. Okay, so this is the twisted estivation, where the regular overlapping has been seen. Okay, do you get it? The twisted estivation, if you see, these are the 5 sepals or petals. Okay, this is the one margin of a one sepal. I give a number 1 margin. This is the other margin of this one sepal. Okay, this one margin, this margin is towards outer side, this margin is towards inner side. Why this is outer and inner with respect to the adjacent sepal or petal? Because this adjacent sepals one margin is towards outer side. Okay, so due to this the one margin of this sepal is towards inner side. Okay, so one margin towards outer side, other margin towards inner side. Okay, similar to this sepal, the adjacent sepal also having one margin towards outer side and other margin towards the inner side. Outer side, inner side, outer side, inner side, outer side, inner side. So this overlapping pattern is in a regular fashion, with one margin of each sepal or petal is overlapping and other being overlap. For example, hibiscus. So this is the photograph of hibiscus flower. Here we clearly seen the twisted estivation. Here this is the one petal, this is another one petal. So here this margin is towards inner side, while its other margin is towards outer side. Okay, now if you see the second petal, the margin is inner side, its other margin is towards outer side. Here also inner side, outer side, inner side, outer side, inner side, outer side. So this is happen in a regular pattern. Overlapping is in a regular pattern. For example, hibiscus. So this type of estivation is a twisted estivation. Okay, okay, do you get it? Here how many petals are seen? 5 petals has been seen, with one margin towards inner side and one margin towards outer side. In other way one can say that one margin of sepal or petal is overlapping and other being overlap. So here it is overlapping, one margin of the petal is overlapping and the other margin is being overlap. Okay, so this type of estivation is a twisted estivation. Next, so this is the imbricate estivation with irregular overlapping. So regular overlapping that we seen in the twisted estivation. Okay, now here is the irregular overlapping in which one sepal or petal is completely overlapped by the other. One sepal or petal is completely overlapped by the other. So it is towards the outer side. Both margins are towards the outer side, completely outer side. Okay, so one with both margins completely outer and another one with both margins completely inner. So here we can see this is the petal where its both margins are towards inner side, and this is the petal whose both margins are towards outer side. Okay, so here one with both margins completely outer and another one with both margins completely inner, and the remaining are alternate means one is towards outer and other towards inner. Here also one towards inner, other towards outer, one towards inner, other towards outer. Okay, so this is the imbricate. In simple way we can say that one petal with both margins completely outer, so here is the completely outer, another one with both margins completely inner, and the remaining are alternate. Okay, for example cleome. So this is the imbricate estivation. So in this diagram we clearly seen this one is the completely outer with both margins, this one is with completely inner with both margins, and others are or the remaining are alternate. Okay, so this is the imbricate estivation. Next is the quincunxial estivation. So in this estivation, two sepals or petals are with both margins outer, two with both margins inner, and fifth with one outer and one inner margin. Okay, so we get the meaning of this outer and inner margins. Now it is clear now. Okay, so in quincunxial type it is like the imbricate estivation, where in imbricate there is one inner, one outer, and remaining are alternating. But in quincunxial there are two completely inner, two completely outer, and the remaining one is alternating. Okay, so here these two opposite are completely outer, these two are completely inner, while the remaining one, that is the fifth one, with one outer and one margin inner. Okay, so this is the quincunxial estivation. For example dianthus, here two are completely outer, these two petals are completely outer with their margins, both margins are outer. Okay, here these two are completely inner with both margins, while this remaining one margin towards inner side and other margins towards outer side. Okay, so this is found in the dianthus quincunxial estivation. Next, so this is the vexillary. So this flower is found in the Clitoria. So it is with a standard, that is the largest one, standard being outermost, overlapping the two wings, these two lateral petals we call it as a wing, which are overlapped by the standard, which in turn overlap keel. So these two petals which are united to form a boat shape cavity, we call it as a keel. So this is the vexillum, this one is the wings, and this is the keel. Okay, so the vexillum, which is the standard, is the outermost, overlapping the two wings, which in turn overlap the keel. The keels are fused at the base, forming a boat-like shape, for example Clitoria. Okay, so this type of estivation is found in the Clitoria family Fabaceae. The estivation is vexillary. Here we know the structure of the or the form of the corolla, where one is the largest one, which we call it as a standard or vexillum, which overlaps the two lateral petals known as the wings, and these wings in turn overlaps the boat shape keel. So this is the vexillary estivation. Okay, so this is the flower of Clitoria, where this is a vexillum which is largest, which overlaps the two lateral wings which in turn overlap a boat shaped cavity that has been formed by the keel. Okay, so this is the axillary estivation, for example Clitoria. Next to this is the imbricate alternate. So this type of estivation that is seen in the perianth, the individual member is the tepal. Okay, so it is the imbricate with the outer hole of a perianth parts alternating with the inner hole of the perianth part. So there are two holes, two rows. So here 1, 2, 3, these are the three tepals which form a one row or hole. To the inner side of this 1, 2, 3, they form the another row or the hole. Okay, so there are two rows, the outer row and inner row. It is the imbricate. So what is the imbricate? One completely outer side, one completely inner side, but others are overlapping. Okay, it is imbricate with the outer hole of the perianth parts alternating with the inner hole of the perianth. So this is the outer hole of the perianth. So this outer hole alternating with the inner hole of the perianth part. Again outer hole alternating with the inner hole of the perianth part. So this happen in a regular pattern. So this type is the imbricate estivation. For example tuberose. So this is the photograph of tuberose. So these 1, 2, 3, these are the outer tepals, they form a one row. 1, 2, 3, these are the inner tepals that form the inner row. So there are two rows here that are occurred in a alternating fashion. So they are this outer row of the petal alternating the inner rows. Again outer row of the petal alternating the inner row. Outer row of the petal alternating the inner row. So this is about the imbricate alternate. Okay, so this is about the estivation, valvate, twisted, imbricate, pincuntial, vexillary, and the last one is the imbricate alternate. Okay, then the perianth. Perianth is occur when the condition is that when calyx and corolla is not differentiated, then the floral hole is known as the perianth. For example tuberose that we seen here. Member of perianth is called as the tepal. When perianth is free, perianth is with free tepal, then it is called as polytepalous. Here the polytepalous condition we can see. When it is fused, then it is called as gamotepalous. So like the calyx and corolla, here the polytepalous condition and gamotepalous condition is seen in the perianth. When we say it is a perianth, when there is no differentiation between calyx and corolla, then we say it is a perianth. When calyx and corolla is not differentiated, then the floral hole is known as perianth. For example tuberose. And member of perianth is called as tepal. When the tepals are free, then the perianth is polytepalous, and when the tepals are united, fused, the perianth is gamotepalous. So this is all for today. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.